Alright, so this video is just to showcase a few combos to kind of get in my head to see what I can do and why I can do certain things, because I was told my extra deck just has so many things that it can do that is crazy, that I've mastered the deck in such a different way that nobody else is playing. And my extra deck is very unique, but it's like all number cards. So I wanted to showcase combos because I was telling the person, I'm like, yeah, he's like, you have everything. You've had that deck for a while, and you must have had it for a while to know what to do when in every scenario. So I was like, yeah, I played the deck over time. So it's like with each loss or win, you were like, I could have did this, I could have did that, and you can just evolve your way of thinking and your deck to the point where it's like, all right, I have enough battle experience to know X, Y, and Z. So it's like I've learned my deck in and out non-stop playing it. So I'm gonna showcase some combos. This just having Bauer and Mseti, you can end up on a spell negate and a monster negate. And this is just off of these two cards with the Utopia stuff mixed with it. And then I'll showcase other things. So it's like you're gonna see things the way I play, and it's like, oh shit, I might have never knew that until I saw your video. And that's why we all look at videos online to see if they come up with ideas that we might not be thinking that could be useful for us. So I am always an advocate for the Arcana Knight stuff, and I love them. The recycling and everything. They're light warriors, and my counterpart is my Raid Raptor, so I'm gonna update that. But I love the horror stuff, so, and I mastered it to fit it in with them, so it doesn't just link to a whole different thing. And you know, they just bring out King and Queen, and it's King Sarcophagus. So it's like when the humans fail, you turn to the gods for help, and they answer. Oh, whatever. So I would go Bauer, and this does so many things, but this is no restriction. That's why I love him. And then you would tribute him to bring out King and Queen, and then you would go into double. Then you would use double's effect. You would search out double or nothing, and you need this for fodder. So then you would go into 99, and then you use 99's effect. He would bring out any number monster between 1 and 100. So you would just use him since he doesn't need materials to activate his effect. You just bring out Harbinger, and now you have a spell negate. And then you would use Horus's effect to send that another card. You would search out King Sark and whatever else you get. Then you play King Sark. You ditch this for any of the Horus cards, and then you bring the Horus cards back. And then now you can leave as interruption, or you could just go into negate. I like using Divine Dragon a lot more because there were times I negated a monster, and then they try to play a spell card or something else that would, let's say, tribute the monster or fuse with the monster or something else, and then this negates that monster's effect. Not only that, it makes that monster's effect unaffected by all the card effects, mines and my opponents. And then if they polyed it or whatever, or try to use a spell card to like tribute it or something, it's unaffected. So that spell card doesn't resolve, and it just does more. And some people couldn't even play past the two negates. Even the Voices player, I managed to do this, and I negated his spell, and then he summoned the monster, and I negated the monster, and he couldn't play. Like, alright, how much is he? He's 6,002 because he was brought out with double or nothing, and his monster was stuck in attack mode. So it's like I would attack for 6. He's like, yeah, game 3. So it's just a simple 2 cards equals 2 negates and 3 monsters, 28. What is he? 3, and he's 6,000. Even the monster, like, I brought him out to negate the monster. Like I did the horror stuff, brought out 2, then brought him out, and then I negated the bouncer Typhoon, and then I proceeded to OTK through it. Cause then it made it so I can play the horror stuff. That's a 2-card combo for that. Another combo I like using with him, but you'll need the rank up spell. So it's like, I'm gonna show you a bunch of different things with just them now. So this goes here. This is in your deck, obviously, and so is this. I just want to search them, so you would normal summon, obviously, and then use his effects, basically turning him into 2 monsters. And at this point, you can go into double, and even if they have 1 monster or 2 monsters, you can OTK them with this. So if they don't have effects, and they have 2 monsters, you would send 1, search out double or nothing, then you would go him, he's 6,000 because of double, and then you would use the other 2 effects, and then go into beyond, and then he drops on summon, he drops their attack to 0, so now you have 6,000 to the face and 3. That's if they have 2 monsters. Now if they have 1 monster, you can still OTK, but playing it back to this point, you know, you use Bauer, you search this out, you would go into Utopia, and then you would link climb to 39. Then this is if they have 1 monster, no matter how much attack it is, as long as it's in attack mode, you can OTK. So then at this point, you play the spell card to rank up, and then you need the sequence, and then you use 2 of the material, and 1 of them has to be Utopia. So then use his effect, because only he can, once he uses his effect, only he can attack directly. So this is the scenario if they have 1 monster. So then you bring out Beyond still, he drops that 1 monster to 0 attack, but then the rank up spell would activate to attach itself. Now you can use his effect to detach, banish himself, and bring back Utopia. Now this is when you need the other cards of, you need the second 39 or anything to link claim. It doesn't have to be 39, but I like it because it's ghost rare. And then you would go lightning. So now because of Beyond, that 1 monster they had is 0, and then he would attack, so they can't activate nothing, and then you use his effect, detach 2, he becomes 5,000, and then he can attack directly because he used his effect. Only he can attack directly, so he's getting rid of the 1 monster, taking 5, and the 3, that's 8,000, and they can't do nothing. Once you go into a battle state with him, they can't activate. So like, alright, battle attack mode, I select him as to attack. They can't, all their cards are shut off until you select something else. So before, during, and after battle damage, they cannot activate nothing until you select another card. So that's if they have 2 monsters. Now I'm gonna show you defensively to play with, defensively and offensively to play with double. So, you know, he bridges into both of these. I'm gonna leave it like this, and then you definitely need the spell card, so he goes into them, which goes into double. Now going in sequence, playing with this, like let's say you want to go offensively, you will do the same thing of going into this card, and then he has 2 material. So let me show you so you don't get confused. You know, you detach, you search the spell, and then you go into him, and then you use his effect to go into the dragon. And now he's 6,000, he's 4, then use his effect to bring him back. And if you don't have the spell card, you can just go into lightning, and then that's 25, 4,000, 6,000. But because you use effect, you can't attack directly. But this is if they have 3 monsters, or whatever in defense mode or whatever. It's just to go offensively. But if you do have the rank up spell, which is what I love, you can turn him into X. And now you have a 6,000, 4,000, 4,000. So even if they don't set nothing because he cannot attack directly, or if they have a monster, he would attack. And then this is 8,000 together. So, and then he has an effect. You can target him. You gain life points to his original attack, so you get 4,000 life points. So this is going offensively. Now defensively, you can just end up on just 2 negates, where you would go into double. He will search out this, and then you would have to link climb. So then you would go, obviously this, then you play the spell to go into this, and then you detach the first 2. There's 2 here, remember, there's king and queen, because you played this. Then you detach the first 2, and it has to be a number monster, so we'll go into 90. And now because you brought him out with the spell, he becomes attached. So now you have 1 negate, and then when you pass turn, you detach 2, and then you just bring out Hope Harbinger. So it's like, basically, if you have, oh, I was looking for the spell. If you have these 2, you can go offensively like I showed you, or you can go defensively and end up with off of 2 cards. They basically turn into 2 negates if there's no interruptions. So that's how I play. You saw the other combos, and it's like you just learn to master your deck your way and just do things differently. But the most simplest way to explain this deck is it's a beatdown deck, so everything does revolve around 99 helping out a lot. So I think it's a great card. It's only natural that these are light warriors, that they match up good with, they have good synergy with the Utopia stuff. And it's like, even you saw for 1 monster, like he could end up on a 6,000, a 4,000, and lightning. If just him by himself, 1 card turns into 3 beefy monsters. And then all the other stuff is just like stuff is hard for them to play through. So I'm trying to even it out. So between the Horus and this, I can set up negates, I could powerhouse, and it's just an OTK deck. None of the duels last forever unless they're slow playing, and one person like, I'm not trying not to slow play. I'm like, you have this. He had like 2 Nibiru's in hand, and I negated his other stuff, but he ended with like, they called timing around, and I already did 3,000, and he had 2 Nibiru's and a Cosmic Cyclone, while I already established like at least 1 monster on the field. So I'm like, he was like, yeah, you got this. I love your deck. You have much respect for not playing what everybody else was playing. I'm like, kind of. There's a lot of people playing Horus, but not my way. I've learned to integrate it with this. The theme of the deck is kings and queens, you know, the medieval time period. And then King Sarcophagus, that's his sarcophagus. And he transcends into a god. And I kept telling them, Vegeta kept popping in my head from Dragon Ball Z when he was like, trespass into the domain of the gods and surpass them. So I was like, I'm really animated with everything I go through. It's like you need something to hold on to, so you can have your sanity and hold on to whatever you have left, because this world will take from you so much, and you have to remain being a good person, having a good heart, or try to. And that's what a lot of people say they love about me, that I have a good heart, I'm a good person, and I try to make things work. But they also know the other side is there, the dangerous other side is like, don't play with me, I'm a good person, but nice people get taken advantage of, but a good person, they will call you on your shit, and you can see just as much of a savage as they are, as you know, the sweet side is mixed with the other side as long as you don't bring it out. But I reciprocate energy, so if you come at me a certain way, my first response with therapy and everything I've learned is sometimes people are having a bad day and they can be going off and it's just been too much. So my first thing is, before I go from 0 to 100, I'm like, do you need a hug? And sometimes they'll end up crying, and that hug would just change things. So if I can neutralize things and de-escalate it before it even goes anywhere else, like that hug helps them. And because I know sometimes it'll help me too if I'm having a bad day. But if they're just a jerk or an asshole, then it's like, all right, now you're gonna just see the other side of me. But if you're sweet, nice, we could have fun. I laughed with people at the tournament. It was good vibes, and everybody was like, we're competitive, but it's nobody's violent or anything. And it's like, yeah, especially there was a handful of veterans and active soldiers, so it was like, it was cool. I didn't know them, but we had each other's back. They're like, no matter what, we're here for each other. It's just an unspoken rule. So it was pretty cool running into them and meeting good people, and even getting hugs from soldiers, because sometimes in our darkest hour, we all said, like, dealing with suicide and everything, in the darkest time, you just want somebody to just hug you, even if you don't talk. Just a hug and look at the sky or whatever. That's all you need. So it sucked that they lived in Connecticut and they had to come to the city to go to any OTS tournaments, but I'm happy they did, because I needed them just as much as they needed me. So this is my combos and little things here and there.